Hi, it's Ian here from Dancing Goat Coffee, and today we're going to go through the basic cleaning procedure on a Festa bean-to-cup super automatic machine. So this is something that you would have been run through with the installation technician and when the machine was first put into your site. But it's nice for us to have a little video online to refer back to and just help you keep up to speed and making sure you're not missing any items within the machine. So as I do the clean down, I'm going to have to open the door and turn my back away from the camera. But we'll also cut into the shot a little inlay to show what I'm actually doing inside the machine. So obviously the first thing we need to do is open the door, and then we're going to lift the lid on the machine. We can see this machine is set up with coffee bean canister above the coffee group. The larger canister in this machine is the milk, followed by chocolate into the same mixing bowl, which we need to clean during this procedure. And then on this version of the machine we have a decaffeinated soluble coffee into the second mixing bowl or the third canister. So the first thing we're going to do is the basic principle is we're going to start at the top of the machine. We're going to remove the soluble canisters and work our way down the machine, cleaning as we go, and then once we've cleaned we're going to reassemble in the reverse order. So the first thing I'm going to do, even though the canisters are empty here, is we're going to close the gate to avoid spillage of soluble ingredients as we remove the soluble canisters. We lift up the canister from the front here and then pull forward away from the drive motor which dispenses the soluble ingredient. And as we lift it out we can see on there that there's the locating tag on the bottom of the canister, and on the back side of the canister there's the drive coupling for the motor which we can identify at the back of the shop there. There's also hopefully a sticker on the back of the machine there so you get the canisters in the correct position when you reassemble. So we'll put these to one side and come back to them as we clean. So the smaller canister is removed in the same way. You can now clearly see the locating holes in the frame of the machine together with both drive couplings. So let's also remove the decaffeinated soluble canister, and again the same way of fixing and orientating inside the back of the machine. So that's the soluble ingredients removed. Any spillages that have occurred during filling of soluble ingredients now need to be cleaned, and the best way to do this is to take some blue or white roll or a small dry brush and clean the area where any soluble ingredient spillages have been done during refill, and just brush them into the mixing bowl here because these are going to be taken off and cleaned as well. So once this area is nice and clean, we're then going to remove this small brown plastic chamber here, and this is the aspiration channel. Now what's happening with this channel as we pull it out, this function of this channel here is to draw steam away from the soluble product which is stored here. So it's really a very simple device which is capturing powders and drawing the steam through because a little bit of dust gets caught in here. If you don't clean this out, it will become blocked with powders. This is the same on any machine that's using a soluble ingredient. So this needs to come out. Obviously this machine is new, so it's very spotless and clean now, and this is how it needs to look, completely clean and dried before it's returned back inside the machine. So you're welcome to wet this and clean this, but then it must be dried with blue or white paper and completely dried before it's returned back in the machine. Again, we'll pop this on the side so you can see that before we reinstall it into the machine. Each mixing bowl has one of these aspiration channels or chambers, and they must be drawn out, cleaned and dried before they're put back. So we use mixing bowl 1 here. Again, we'll cut into the shot so you can see more clearly the locking collar on the bottom of the mixing bowl. So you see the pipe that goes down to the dispense head from each mixing bowl there. And what we're going to do is go from the locked position, which is 6 o'clock, to 5 o'clock. And then we're going to firmly hold the mixing bowl at the mixing chamber there and ease that off the mixer paddle mount there. So as we take that off there, we can see we've got the mixing bowl free, and you can now see the whipper paddle on there, which is the thing that agitates your milk or your chocolate to give it that nice creamy texturized taste. So on this machine here we will take off the silicone pipe. It's a little awkward reaching over the side of the machine, but I want to be able to show the camera, show you what's happening. So as we slide the the silicone pipe down and off, we can see there that we have the mixing bowl removed from the face of the machine. So this is the view that you would see at the front when you look inside the machine, and it's important to note there that you have the two locking tags there and the narrowing spout which is fitted inside the exit spout of the mixing chamber there. There's also a collar which we're going to now remove and separate each part of this mixing bowl system so that you can see how it goes back together. So the mixing bowl collar comes off, and you can see on there there's a small groove cut into that which fits to this embossed edge inside the mixing bowl there. So it will only fit back in and click into position so it lines up with the aspiration channel. So we'll take this item off. Again, this could go through pot wash or be cleaned as long as it's dried when it goes back. We can now separate the top half of the mixing bowl from the whipper chamber here. So we'll just place back together again. So we see the exit is out towards the cup, the entrance for the water is here where the water comes into the bowl, and that is the water inlet from the boiler. So the machine, this is orientated on the machine with the ears towards the back and the inlet towards the back, the exit into the cup out to the front. So we take this out, this can be cleaned, wants to go back in spotless and clean and dry like this. Same with the mixer chamber. Important to note there that we can see down the exit of the mixing bowl chamber, and it's clear. Whilst we have the whipper blade exposed here, we'd also use a firm brush to clean this and remove any residual soluble ingredient that's on there. As we move down, we've then got the the dispense head, which is where the spouts from the mixing bowls lead and dispense into the cup. So this needs to be cleaned as well. Then we can move to the waste coffee container. So in this case, it's only holding one waste coffee cake at the moment there. So we'll throw this away. And then this would again go into pot wash or go into the sink to be cleaned and then dried again. Pop this on the side. So as we move to the base of the machine, we've got the drip tray here, which is mounted in position with two locking tags here, and then on the base there is also these locking tags into the frame. You can maybe see just inside there's a little bit of residual water. There's always some spillages from drinks from customers as they use the machine, and after each drink preparation it drops a little bit of pressure out of the system with a small amount of water into the bottom of the drip tray. So again, this can come out and this can be separated, so we can take the tray cup grid there, and then, although it's taped in position at the moment because of the new machine, we can then lift up and remove the actual full tray to clean underneath there. Again, back together nice and dry and back into position. So then we start to rebuild the machine. The first thing we'll do is we'll pop the drip tray back in position, and then before we do anything else, we're also going to remove the ground coffee chute and ensure that that's clear. So this is this metal chute here from the grinder down to the coffee group. When it grinds coffee to produce a dose of coffee to prepare espresso based drinks, black coffee, cappuccino, Americano, we can hear the grinder running and we can see the coffee dispensing into the group. So it's important that we check this daily along with the other cleaning regime of the machine. So we lift this off and we can see if it's orientated on the machine here, and it's held in place with two hooks at the top and one small hook at the bottom which sits on top of the coffee group. So if I turn that round, so you can see the two hooks here and the third hook down there. So this is the face where the ground coffee comes out of the grinder and then down into the coffee group. So we can see through there, there's just a small amount of coffee builds up within the chute during dispensing, because ground coffee is quite static, so it sticks to things. So we would take this and we would use a dry brush, try to avoid wetting this chute. So we use a dry brush and a little bit of white roll or blue roll to clean that off. We'll bring the camera in closer again so that you can see where it's located. The coffee chute is located with these two openings either side of the grinder output, and then this small bridge above the coffee group here where the hook at the base of the chute hooks on. So it fits on like so. Shouldn't require any forcing, just firmly push down and then it'll lock into position. So we've cleaned the coffee chute, it's dry. We've cleaned the drip tray, that's dry. So we're now going to reassemble the mixer bowl and place that back into position. So I'm just going to place it here and hold on. So we take the three parts of our mixing bowl, now that they're clean. So this is the top part with the water inlet. This is the mixer whipper chamber. So this is the piece with the two ears and then the outlet into the cup. So the ears go towards the back of the machine and fit behind that locking collar. And then we place the top part on with the inlet to the back of the machine so that it slips over the water inlet from the main boiler there. So we push these down firmly together, and then really importantly we must put on the mixer bowl collar. Again, we orientate this using that little cutout there and that embossed ridge on the back of the mixer bowl. So we can see it as we lock into position and then push there. So now we're going to use firm pressure to make sure that we guide the outlet from the boiler over the inlet to the mixing bowl, and then firm pressure to push at the point where the ears are, just so that the assembly sits behind the locking collar. Once it's in position, we should easily be able to rotate the locking collar from 5 o'clock unlocked to 6 o'clock locked, and then that's back in position there. Always critical, remember to put the outlet pipe on. So then just between your finger and thumb, you should be able to slide the silicone pipe over the outlet of the mixing bowl. Then importantly, we've got the aspiration chamber. So the rectangular cutout at the front matches the rectangular cutout of the mixing bowl here. So as we place it into position here, it should just require finger pressure to push back as far as it would go. Shouldn't require any force, and then the same again above this mixing bowl as it's been removed, cleaned and reassembled. So that's the mixer system clean. We can then move on to the canisters. Weekly, the canisters need to be emptied, washed and completely dried. Canisters can be disassembled, and you can see that you can remove a chute by turning anti-clockwise on the milk or the left hand canister. So again, cleaned with a dry brush and some white roll or blue roll, and then once cleaned, reassembled back together. Important that if you wet this, that it's completely dry before you reintroduce the soluble ingredient back inside that canister. So once it's clean and back together, we can then place this back inside the machine. So we've got the milk canister lining up with the milk ingredient motor. So we pop that with the front edge lift up, and then it sits over the dispense motor, and then in the correct position it should just slot down nicely into these cutouts using those small embossed tags on the base of the canister. So again, chocolate over the chocolate motor, again into position, and then we find the location hole. Same with the decaffeinated soluble or canister 3, in again over the ingredient motor and then down so it's locked over the centre of the mixer bowl. Importantly, we remember to put back our ground waste bin. The machine's back together again. So there's one final thing that we can do to ensure that we have put the machine back together correctly. On previous videos you'll have seen us use the effective shift key or operator mode. So when we touch the screensaver, we bring the screen back alive again, and then we push and hold the Brasilia key there, and we bring up this kind of secondary operator screen. And what we've got on here is the recharge coffee waste that you'd be used to using. We've also got alarm reset, which is important to reset any alarms if there's a lack of water or coffee beans have run out. And then we've also got cleaning on here. And we use cleaning After we've cleaned the machine, we rinse through and we make sure that everything's back together, because we should only get water once we press rinse coming down and into the cup if everything's back together and reassembled correctly. So we'll take a cup, we'll pop it underneath the dispense head there, and then we'll press the cleaning cycle. You can see the cleaning message comes up on the display. I'll open the door so that you can see there. The group performs a reset, and then we start to run water. And you can hear water running through the mixing bowls, and it's only going into the cup, so we know that everything has been reassembled correctly. You hear the beep to say that the cleaning rinsing cycle has finished. We can see that there's no water leaking out of the mixing bowl assemblies, so we know we've successfully put the machine back together correctly.